It's so brutal to sell.
There's no margin there.
I'm not making my living selling gold.
Yeah,
I can tell you that right now. I say this all the time. It's like mostly the gold that I sell, truthfully, is really more of a courtesy. A major award.
That's right. Or a lamp leg. Yeah, I'll take the lamp leg.
Get to the leg.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Steve and I were just, and I'm over here, guys.
Yeah,
but
Steve
and I were just recording a video and talking about when customers walk in and they've seen the channel or they see Steve's face pop up and Dan over here. It is Dan, right?
Daniel.
Okay.
It's fine. Yep.
So Dan came in and then he said, didn't know you guys were recording. Love the videos and I was saying to Steve, I love when that happens.
Right?
Yeah, and we literally just talked about that. But Dan was saying, are these the types of videos that people like? And people love the mustache. They want to see you on here. But this is the first time I've ever had a customer of Steve's actually come onto camera. This was actually your idea.
Yeah,
I never wanted to intrude.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, how long have you been into precious metals, and what got you involved with stacking? As I bang into the camera, stacking and all that stuff.
Okay, so I got involved probably 2019. I would say 2018, 2019, just before COVID hit, and I got involved just as an alternative investment.
Yeah.
I mean, I was putting money in a savings account, and it kind of got to the point where I was like, well, and that was at the time when interest rates were
nothing, right?
Yeah,
they're still not right.
Maybe they were 2%, and
right.
Inflation was 2%, so it was a wash. And I was just like, this is a good hedge. And I always kind of was into coins as a kid. Like I always enjoyed that. That was fun.
So you were buying collections and stuff essentially at first.
So when COVID hit, I have a main business that I'm involved in. But when COVID hit, I had a couple people. One guy I just met at a bar actually, and he was like, "Hey, my."
Yeah, well, we'll cut it out.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning.
Talking about Whatnot?
Yeah, talking about Whatnot. So you were asking, have I ever messed around with Whatnot? Had a conversation with them to talk to them about, what it's like to sell on their platform. Because for me, I was looking at it as a way to just grow my YouTube base. Mm-hmm. And Whatnot said that they charge around 11 to 13% of gross. And on top of that, a benefit is that as soon as somebody buys something, they are charged and the money, goes into Whatnot's
So you don't have to mess around with collecting.
You don't have to mess around with it, but then it takes 5 days to clear. So I said to the person that I spoke with, I said, listen, that aspect, I guess, is okay. However, number one, I don't have any percentage that I have to pay because I'm selling for free on YouTube, number one. And number two, they're paying me directly, so I don't have to wait 5 business days for the money to clear your account and come to me. I get the money instantly. Yes, you do have those people that you have to chase down.
Take a step to the left because your arm is going to end up in the frame.
Bam. Thank you. Always looking out for me. So you do, there are a couple people that you have to track down, but a lot of the times that they're, I forgot, I'll send the payment right now. It's not that big of a deal. So then the person at Whatnot said to me, okay, how about this? We could do 3 months, maybe at the 4% fee. I said, again, I still am paying 0 and I still get my money right away. And does in terms of dealing, and it seems like you do
a little bit, not like you guys do, but side hustle.
But you do need money quickly because as soon as you're selling out of the product, you're buying more product. And so to wait 5 days to have all of that money locked up, it's hard.
So we recently switched some banks because of that same reason. A lot of the banks want to hold your check now for three to 5 days.
Oh, interesting.
So they'll give you X amount out of your deposit, they'll be readily available.
And the rest clears 2 days later.
2 or 3 days later. So, and that's really tough.
Is more your business check than cash?
No. It's a good
balance.
mix. It's a good mix.
Yeah. I have with any the gold business I do, I only will collect the cash and then pick it up because I just you only make a couple bucks on it.
Gold is so brutal to sell.
There's no margin there.
I'm not making my living selling gold.
Yeah,
I can tell you that right now. I say this all the time. It's mostly the gold that I sell, truthfully, is really more of a courtesy.
That's exactly I say that on my
It
live
really
streams.
is, because there is not much to be made on gold.
Right.
You're not keeping the lights on selling gold. Like, it's a lot of money in and out.
Well, and that's
But
the
you're
problem.
not
You
making
tie
much.
up so much for
Huge
such
capital.
a period of time.
Huge
Like
capital.
3 days, you got to outlay so much to make
To make a
$20,
piddly-
$50
yes.
a bar,
You
maybe.
spend
you know?
$100,000 buying gold, you literally make 2.
I swear to
Yeah.
God, you must have been following me around or something, because just the other night I said that. I said, I'm putting out $2,000 on this buffalo, or $2,100 on the buffalo, to get $20 or $30,
$20 to $30
and
bucks.
it's just a courtesy.
And not for nothing, every time you do it, there's a risk, right? You could buy a fake bar by accident one time
Oh, yeah.
and burn.
I've seen
the whole-
a bunch of fake bars in here. Like,
Yeah.
they've come in, and I check every bar that comes in, or I check them with the machine.
So that's different.
And they look phenomenal.
It's different for Steve. Like, I don't feel like I have as much risk exposure like him with that, because he's buying collections and things that come over the counter, but he does have the machine
That's true.
to deal with it. I'm usually buying my metals from like really big name wholesalers that you pretty much know that the
You're
stuff
good.
they're
Well, they
sending
back their
is
stuff too.
yes.
They also, should one
Yes.
get through or something like that, all those wholesalers are going to say no problem. We're going to take care of it. Especially if you have that business relationship with them.
Yeah.
Do you typically do your sales person to person? Do you do it on eBay? Like when you're saying you do a little bit on the side.
So I do. I mean, I get most of my gold from Steve, actually, because
Yep.
there's not a whole lot of people that are doing, like, it's not that hard to sell gold. You can walk into a ton of shops. You don't have to be here. It could be a jewelry store. There's a lot of places to sell gold. So I don't find a lot of people selling gold. Most of what I pick up is people's collections. Like, somebody had a relative who passed away, or they inherited this collection, and they're not into metals. They frequently don't even know what they have. And I usually just take a percentage and say, like, I'll handle the sales for you. Some of the harder stuff I come in and Steve will buy from me, because I don't have the same network. Like, I had a box of proof sets once. And I was like, I couldn't sell these.
That's kind of how we met.
Yeah. Like this giant box of proof
I'll
sets.
never
I was
forget-
like, I don't have the energy or time to go
He's
through
so
this.
far advanced since then, right? So we're humming and hawing over like a quarter.
Yeah.
Over each set. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my time. I'm going to be patient with him, because if I knew if he's buying, then he'll
he's gonna grow and
He'll
continue
grow.
to bring some.
And I
stuff.
That was a big
took
collection,
my
though.
time.
That was a big one.
Yeah, it was, and I get it. You're probably working close anyway, but long story short is now this has developed into a good relationship for both of us, So it's
Totally. And the things that I would pick up were more it was mostly people that didn't know what they had. So, like, my added service was to go through and make sure they didn't just dump a whole collection for $500 that was worth $5,000.
Yeah, right.
And the percentage split seems to work for that. So I'm doing less and less of it, but I like it. I really enjoy it. It's fun. I like going through and seeing, like, it's kind of cool to go through someone's collection and see what they were into, what they collected. There's some, like, even every time I picked up a collection, I found something I've never seen before. I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat.
It's a lot of fun when you know what's funny is you'll see the redundancy. People tend to do things the same way.
Yeah.
You can almost tell the personality of what you're going to find in that collection,
Right.
and how you're going to find it, what kind of receptacles it's going to be in.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best word, because I found that coins have been brought in this store in every means of container you can imagine, mostly good. A couple times there was some old cigarette packs that were gross. Man. I mean, they stunk.
It's like a strange way to get to know somebody. Like, the people I haven't met, like this one guy, that first collection I did, that big one with you, was this guy's dad. That was I think it was a dealer, actually. But I was just like, okay, I started to learn, like, this is how he labels things. This is how he likes to pack pennies. This is how he likes to pack.
Really get to learn their personality.
I kind of felt like I got to know this guy that I never met. It's
really
a
true.
fun hobby.
That is
It's
so
cool.
true.
So would you say you typically, essentially for your business, you're buying up these collections from estates or what have you, and then and then you just bring them over to Steve and then rinse and repeat, or do you
No.
sell on other platforms as well? Or
So it's Steve, eBay,
Yeah.
and then I have a couple, like, friends / customers that are just like, hey, I'm always in the market for
Excellent.
silver eagles. So if I got a box of 10 eagles, I just call them and be like, here's the price.
Do you ever go on like Facebook groups or on Instagram or anything like that?
So
or?
I got burned on a couple Facebook groups.
Okay.
Like I find Facebook's a lot of work
Yeah.
to make a sale. Like,
Yeah.
I got to talk to 6 or 7 people, and I have
Yeah.
no idea who's serious.
Yeah.
So it's almost worth it to me to pay the eBay fees. I've not really messed around with Instagram. The constant messaging is, like, more work than it's worth.
I feel the
almost.
same way, and
Like-
that's why I don't use it.
Like, I
It's
know
too much, man.
and like, I'm gonna say 30% of the people have no idea what they're talking about, or are asking something unreasonable.
Or they're learning. A lot of people on there might be
Maybe.
dabbling
And
for
you
the
don't-
first time,
and you
and they
don't
have
have
a lot
to-
of questions, and that's okay. But for me, You well know how I text. Like, when it comes to texting,
You should watch
say
our
what you
text
need to
with-
say in as short a paragraph as possible, or else I'm likely not going to read it. A,
Yeah.
and B, you're going to get like a one-word response.
Yes.
You
No.
undershot me by about $1,000 on that one bar that one time in that text.
Oh, maybe.
We
Oh, that's
we
right.
go back and forth so
Because,
quick.
right.
I know.
Sometimes, and that's another reason too. That's so funny. So we did that. That's a funny story.